What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 93 of Spoiler Alerts. What's up, fellas?
Say 93?
Yeah, oh, no, not 93. Number 9. Oh, God.
Number 9.
I've got my
man, we've been here.
You have too many shows, dude. You have so many shows.
We've been playing Civ 6 too long, right?
Yeah, we have been playing.
Yeah,
it's like we're on turns now. We're on turn 93 of Too Much
93.
Civilization 6.
Oh,
yeah.
God, seriously. I'm Chanmanv,
yeah.
of course. That's Ellohime, and that's Eat My Addiction. And,
Hello.
And today we've got Fargo season 1 on the agenda.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Don't you know? Just for everybody who's new to the show, it is spoiler alert. So the purpose of the show is to discuss these wonderful works of art in an entire capacity, which means we will be talking about the entirety of season 1, and I think we're even involving the movie in this discussion. So if you haven't seen these things and you want to see them, you probably shouldn't watch, because we will be discussing all the good things about it and all the bad things about it and all the in between. But if you want to participate, check out the end of the broadcast. We will have our next our little book club assignment. Yeah. So check that out, and then join us in a couple of weeks, because next week we're not going to have the show. So after that, please join us in 2 weeks, and we will be discussing that, and maybe you can come along with the conversation and not feel like you're going to get things ruined for you.
Yeah, and for this show, if you want to join in the Fargo discussion, you can go to this Discord channel, and Monkey Overlord will be there to talk to you, to get you set up. But if you want to come on and add to the discussion that we're having, you can just hop on the call with us at the end when we do the Q&A sections. And we highly encourage you guys to, because you guys are awesome too. And of course, we don't know everything about Fargo. So
Chan doesn't. I do, but I don't know about Chan.
I'm pretty learned on the lore of Fargo. Not gonna lie, I've seen the movie like 10 times, I think.
No, but Chan's right. Anytime we get a call in, we usually have somebody bring up stuff that we didn't even discuss. You know, there's a lot to talk. I mean, you could write and talk for hours and hours about some of this stuff. So we got 2 hours usually, not even. So yeah, you guys' input is definitely appreciated.
I have a rogue mustache hair that is just like in my.
I know. I'm doing the same thing. It's the.
I'm getting a haircut and like a groom tomorrow, but like right now it's bugging the shit out of me.
It's funny. Mine's tonight, and it's doing it to me too. And I'm like, oh. But I mean, with this beard, it's like, I mean, yours is at least a little bit kept. Like mine is not.
I don't have that like long one you got going underneath that you tuck in.
Yeah, because like right now, I mean, even it's like it's way longer than you think. Like,
do y'all ever have that?
I can't even get to the ends of like, hey everyone.
Can you braid it? You could probably braid that.
Well,
all right, so everyone who's listening like on iTunes right now, just imagine an octopus, okay? or a Cthulhu. And that's what we're witnessing right now.
Can we just throw a kraken? Can that be one of the words?
Look at this.
I mean, Cthulhu is kind of a kraken.
And you just kind of
part kraken, part god.
Twist it up.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
And tucked under.
And tucked too.
Boom! And now you kind of got a little bun at the bottom. Kind of brings a little
fucking system.
It brings a little order to an otherwise chaotic lifestyle.
Right.
All right, so should we begin?
Yeah. All right. Where do we start with this one?
How about how fucking awesome this goddamn show is?
Yeah.
How about we just start there?
Probably one of the best ever.
And
so fucking good.
Can I also say that I never knew that Bilbo Baggins could be such a bad person?
I was like Billy Bob Thornton. I don't know why Billy Bob and Bilbo in my head combined, and I was like
Bilbo Thornton.
Billy Bob wasn't a hobbit.
That would be a really interesting casting choice for Lord of the Rings. I would actually probably want to go back and watch it.
He's got to be
Billy
like
Bob was one of the hobbits.
Either a hobbit. I mean, if he played anything, really anything other than a human. If he was a dwarf, it'd be great. If he was an elf, it'd be even better. If he was a hobbit, it'd be the best. Like, I mean, you know what I would like? A dragon with Billy Bob's voice.
Ooh, just like redo Dragonheart without Sean Connery.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just
Just
Billy
have him-
Bob.
Just have him cussing at children and shit. Like,
I am the last one. I am the lost.
Oh my gosh, that would be.
God, we're really off. We're really off course.
bad,
Okay,
man.
so let's. Okay,
So bad.
so we're already kind of joking about Billy Bob. Okay. Have you guys ever respected Billy Bob as an actor? Like, I know that.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sling
I don't
Blade.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sling Blade
of course,
is
everybody
awesome.
says Sling Blade. Everybody always
Yeah.
says Sling Blade. But I don't know. I've never really seen a movie. Then again, I haven't seen Sling Blade. Okay, but I haven't really seen a movie where I was like, "Wow, Billy Bob! Holy shit, that guy is awesome!" And all I think about
He's good.
from like the late 90s till I want to say until like Bad Santa, where he he went on record in interviews saying like, I don't really care about acting. I'm just doing my job. This is a paycheck for me. So he was in like a slew of just like really terrible fucking like comedies and just movies that he just didn't like. He just like would look at the title, not even read the script. Like, okay, sure.
I like
all
Bad
right,
Santa,
just like
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Bad Santa's great. That's where
That's
it's
good. He was in,
where he started
he was in
doing
all kinds of things.
I'm just saying that, like, my thing is that, like, when I think about Billy Bob, all I think about is like a vial of blood of Angelina Jolie's like around
That's
his
one
neck.
of the first thoughts that I had.
Yeah, that's the first time.
I'll
Like
admit it.
I never think what a crazy talented actor. Like when you think about like, some other talented actors like Leonardo DiCaprio or like these other people, you think, wow, what a great actor. But when I saw this series, it made me a fan of Billy Bob. Like he is so incredible in this damn show. Like it can't be said with enough emphasis. Like his acting is just superb. It's like the character, you feel that character and everything that character brings, that alpha, that like his philosophy. He lives his philosophy, like I am the alpha, I am the beast, you are all the sheep. And he just does the craziest shit to back it up. It's almost like he can't be killed. It's almost like he's got the confidence that Preacher should have had.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but he doesn't have the word. So I just wanted to go out and just say that Billy Bob just insanely good.
I mean, it's just the way he looks,
He
and like when he during the show, when he flips that dark switch, you know what I mean? When he just, I mean, it was really funny because he would just fuck with people sometimes, right? Like when he was talking
he just
to
like
the
prank
father and the
people,
kid.
just like he's
Exactly.
a chaotic
For no reason.
evil, he
Yeah,
just
he's
like wherever he goes, he creates chaos because that's what drives him. I mean, money is also a big factor, obviously, because we learn later on that he's a con man and he's been conning people for God knows how long.
Exactly.
But like the big thing for him is just causing chaos and wrecking people's lives. And I like that about him because I knew after I like watched the first season, I learned that Noah Hawley, the guy that created the show, he wrote most of the episodes and stuff. When he was working with the Coen brothers on it, that he decided it was going to be mostly like thematically based on their movie Fargo, but he wanted to shoehorn in a bunch of elements from their other movies. So Lorne Malvo, his character, is very much Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. That's why he just can like walk through a crime scene murdering people and just get away with it. Like even though there's cameras rolling, he's this weird, just like almost ethereal, menacing like creature that like really can't be like tagged down or like killed or anything. He's just kind of like otherworldly in a way.
But the way he looks, I mean, like when he had that
fucking hair, the bowl cut,
exactly. Oh my god,
super unassuming, but like also sinister.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and what better place to have somebody like that than in these small, very kind towns of Minnesota. Like it's almost like you're putting the wolf right in the middle of the herd and just letting him run around causing all sorts of chaos, like you said, mayhem. And it's crazy because I think the general attitude of the people in the town is positive. Like they're very about their neighbor. They all pretty much know each other. They're unassuming. They're friendly. All that good stuff. So he just walks. It's like it's not the same as if you were to have him in like let's say like New York. where he walks in there. There may be a lot other.
He'd tell that kid to piss in the gas tank, and that kid will fucking flip him off and walk away or something.
Yeah. But
Exactly.
but in the middle of Minnesota with all these friendly people that just like give people the benefit of the doubt, neighborly. It's like
the devil. He's like corrupting.
He's a kid in a candy shop.
Exactly.
He's a kid in a candy shop because there's very few people who are gonna go. Wait, oh, I don't have to be friend. Oh, this is actually detrimental. But it just plays off people, man. And I think Diction said it best in that scene where you saw him tell the kid, "Oh, when I got pissed, I took a piss in this dude's car. He didn't run right ever since." And so the kid does it, and then he calls it in on him. He's like, it's almost like just a little side project that he's doing just because things aren't chaotic enough. He's got to do this.
This motel's boring. Let's spice it up a bit.
Even when he was like trying to remember when he was trying to find Lester at the end, he goes to his old house, and it's just like a dad with the two kids.
Oh,
and he just tells the ghost story for like 9 years. Murdered here, and we hear voices, and we hear voices in the basement, and so just to freak him out. No reason at all.
He has to do that. Like, he didn't even know these people. They had nothing to do with his cause to get Lester. It's just like, yeah, why not? Just fuck with them.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's all in line with the character, and I love that his character throughout the series adopts other personas and does so, like you said, that switch on and off. Where he's the minister,
the
preacher.
Well, I didn't notice in that scene. This is my third time watching this season. I've watched it 3 times now, and I noticed a lot of details I didn't notice the first time around. And one of them was when he gets pulled in, and Gus like brings him in to get booked. The guy puts down his glasses. And then, like, as he's circling around to like lead him out, he picks up the guy's glasses and puts them on, and no one fucking notices. And it like completely, because he like fucks with his hair to make it look a little more like uniform. Yeah. But then like I didn't notice that he put on the guy's glasses, and the guy himself looks him in the face and doesn't realize that he's wearing his glasses.
I didn't actually notice that either.
And he does that whole scene where he's fucking like pretending to be the minister with the glasses that belong to the fucking booking agent. Like I never noticed that. I was like, that is fucking brilliant, dude. That is so good.
Wait, so he just takes the officer's glasses?
Yeah, the officer sets him down, and then he like circles around while Gus and him are having a conversation. He just quickly puts them on, and then he turns around and looks at them, and neither of them notice.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. I thought he just had that. I just thought he had the glasses like in his pocket or something.
Yeah, he stole
David Blaine street magic. Like that's what it is. But no, I love that he can just switch it off. I love the character he plays towards the end when he's doing that.
The dentist.
Job.
The dentist.
Yeah, the dentist. And, he's a aces.
Like
aces. He has like a whole thing that he has about this character. He just plays it off. And you see good acting within good acting. It's like it's like Exhibit showed up and said, we heard you like acting, so we made Billy Bob do other characters in a movie.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. I just love him.
I think my favorite scene with him was that very first scene he had with Colin Hanks. When Gus
pulls him over. Yeah, he tells him. He used to say on maps there be dragons here, but they don't anymore. Doesn't mean the dragons aren't there though. Yeah, that was like, that was chilling, dude. It was fucking chilling.
And it just like, oh gosh. I mean, I know. So personally, I could never be a law enforcement person. So, I don't know. It's just like in that moment, you just kind of like. You can kind of see like if I was a law enforcement, I would probably be influenced by somebody like that too, like because just for self-preservation, you know what I mean? And it's so chilling. Like that scene is extremely.
Gus had like one of the better arcs because like you see his cowardice in that scene, and then like that follows him throughout the whole series. He's embarrassed. Everyone at the station doesn't trust him. They put him on fucking like the most menial dude, like animal control duty because of it, And then he reveals to Solverson like that he never wanted to be a cop, he wanted to be a mailman,
right?
And then so there was this like nice long arc of him going back to like, okay, I can't be a cop, I can't do it, and then at the very end, he's the one that fucking takes down Malvo, and like even though he's probably gonna go back to being a mailman, like.
Yeah, well, I think it's the point that at that point I felt like it was almost like Lauren Malvo. I'm just gonna say Billy Bob. Billy Bob's character.
Yeah.
It's almost like his philosophy was disproven almost. You know, like this guy who's the cowardice, you know, or is the coward. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a lot, but like this, I guess, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it made his point. It's like it's weird because it's like
I think it made his point.
I think it makes the point. Actually,
the point was like why can humans only see more shades of green than any other color? Mm-hmm. And then Sulverson tells them, oh, it's because of the predators.
Yeah,
because in the forest and the jungle, there's more green than any other color, so they need to know which shade is which, so they don't get eaten. And
I thought
so he came to him and said, I figured it out. Like he's like, why we can see all the shades of green? And it's because he's also a predator.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
I got you.
Remember, because he said once you figure it out, right? You'll.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I just had a different way of looking at it at first. I thought it was almost like the weakest character destroys the alpha male, and it's kind of showing that even though you may be, you know, a coward and you may be weak when it comes to protecting your family, that you may be able to defeat, you know, dragons, as it were, you know, that kind of thing. So I guess it does make his point because he does become, you know, the predator at that point. But I don't know. I just kind of saw it as anyone can do this, you know, like anyone can be this person in the right attitude. You don't need to go around acting like a fucking asshole.
I think that was the point. Everyone is a predator because we all see the same shades of green or whatever the point. Yeah.
And you kind of saw, I mean, to your point, Ello, you did see Lester start to evolve throughout the entire thing, and at the end, his is my favorite arc. He gets the better end of Lauren at the end. He gets that bear trap on, injures him. I mean, who knows if that injury would have just killed him eventually because it looked really.
Well, he would have lost that. I think that's like, crap. I mean, I don't know. I have a limited scope when it comes to, you know, medical stuff, but like, I don't. That leg
without a doctor, he would have lost that leg.
Oh yeah, he would have lost that leg. I mean, he got out of there. I mean, it was bad enough where he was like, "Fuck," and we all wanted it too. Every time there was a scene with that bear trap, we all wanted it. Like, there's this little part in you that's like, God, I hope they use that bear trap. And when it happens, you're like not thinking about it really. At least I wasn't when it happened. And then I was like, yes, the bear trap, they did use it. But I think there's a point that I wanted to touch on a little bit was how this show takes time with its characters.
Yeah.
It keeps things interesting, but it doesn't try to rush the development of its characters. And that is so valuable for a story. That's one thing that I hate most about, like, when we saw like Luke Cage and like other things, like things trying to establish way too fast. Like, this is who I am. I'm this character. It's like, okay, cool, man.
It's either like took too long or they didn't take enough time in Luke Cage.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, one or the other, you know?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing is like when the character, you know, Lester, you know, we see, I mean, it isn't until like episode 7 or 8 out of like what 10 or something that he actually starts to get the confidence and, you know, like actually become this, you know, super articulate guy. This kind
and
of
it's because he got away with murder.
It's because he got away with murder.
I love how they portrayed his character because from the very beginning, he's really hard to root for. Like, he's pathetic. He's like he has no he can never fight back, even against his own fucking wife and his brother and shit. Like, everyone puts him down, he just takes it, and then he fucking murders his wife in a really brutal fashion, like a pretty passionately brutal fashion. And then the rest of the series is him trying to fucking lie his way out of it in every scene that he's in. And you root for him.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know how they pulled it off, but every single time he's about to get caught, you're like, oh shit, come on, Lester, you can do it. You're like rooting for him to get away with this shit.
Yeah.
Like, and like, I just love that. Like, I think Martin Freeman, like, when he was interviewed about the role, said that he took it because he loved how good Lester was at lying. And like, he's never played a role where it's like, it's basically he has to act like he's lying for the entire fucking series. Basically, he has to just like make shit up and act, and like he has like a head tick he does. I didn't really notice it until this particular, when he does the interview with Bob Odenkirk about, like, after he frames his brother, he does this head tick where he goes like that a lot. It just like goes down or up or something. And I noticed it like then, and then after that, every time he was lying, he would do that. But when he was like just talking to people regularly, he was fine. He was totally composed and stuff. So I don't know. I thought Martin Freeman like fucking stole it. Like Billy Bob was great, but Martin Freeman, like every single time he's on the screen, I was just like enthralled. I wanted to know what he was gonna do to get himself out of the situation.
Well, that's you. Go ahead, Chan.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I think Lester's my favorite character too, and the crazy part, and I agree with that all that stuff about you rooting for him, even when he kills his wife. It's kind of sick, but I was like, yeah, dude, like, yeah,
yeah. I mean, well, she's horrible to him. I mean, she's real. It's real bad.
I mean, she is definitely bad, and I mean that whole sequence with what's his name, Hess. Is it Ed Hess or the bully?
Sam
right?
Hess.
Sam Hess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing with his son. Oh my gosh, that was like
his fucking disgusting son.
Exactly. But no, overall, like with Lester, it was. God, this is such a good job with this character because they're like his general persona and what he gives off is that, especially in the beginning, is that he's a very giving person and not necessarily weak. You know what I mean? It's not until later that you're like, oh, he's purely just a coward. But you still have this kind of trait that kind of resonates the rest of the way. But then he starts doing things where it's just pure self-preservation, like sacrificing his brother, and he'll look at the picture of his nephew, and then just like you're thinking, oh, okay, he's going to take it back. No, he's not taking it back. He's putting a freaking gun in his knapsack or his backpack instead. And then with his wife at the end, right? It's like, honey, could you go in and open the safe? And then not only that, could you wear my coat? I mean, dude, that's
stay warm out.
Crazy.
It's cold out. Yeah.
Put your hood up. Put your hood up.
Like, I want that pretty little face to freeze.
I mean, it's almost like because like he meets Lauren by chance, just because he gets into a car wreck and then he gets his nose broken because he slams into the window. Mm-hmm. So like their first encounter is completely fate, and I feel like Malvo kind of saw the sociopath in Lester in that sequence.
Yeah,
because he's like talking about Sam Hess like he wants to fucking do something to him. But like Lauren's the only one that can really see like, oh yeah, like if he was given the chance alone in a dark room, he would fucking kill him. So he just kind of like set things in motion. And yeah, I just like that. I like his arc because when he got to the point where he's confident, he fucks Sam's wife with while looking at a picture of him and stuff.
Exactly.
And then he fucking just like, I mean, like it flashes forward, but he's like, his hair's changed. He has his own insurance agency. He's got his beautiful new wife and new house and stuff. It makes sense that that's what happened because he fucking essentially earned the right to be a cocky piece of shit because he got away with so much on his own, like all by himself. Like he murdered his wife, he framed his brother, he like got away with all of this shit, and then managed to not get killed by the hitmen, like all of this stuff. And so like he earned the right to be this new version of himself in his mind, in his warped sociopathic like.
Well, I think it goes back to bullying too, right? I think all of us can stand up for the person not being bullied. I think all of us have that kind of heart where if you saw somebody bullied, your heart would go out for them. You want to do something. I have a hard time watching bullying when I'm watching a show or a movie or stuff because all I want to do is jump through the screen and beat the shit out of the other person, right? Right. And so when you have those strong emotions about bullying, it pulls on those strings. You start to feel sympathetic towards the character. Yeah. And then when you see him do these horrible things, there's almost obviously there's a part of us that goes, well, you can't murder somebody over this stuff. That's wrong. But we see where you're going with this. Yeah. Your head's in the right place because you've taken a lot of abuse for a long time. So it's that Sopranos character, right? Where like Tony Soprano, it's a tragic, sympathetic figure. You are cheering for him, but part of you is also hoping that he gets caught. Part of you is hoping that he becomes this better person. Part of you is hoping that he slips away again. It's like either way he goes, you're kind of happy with it because you just love the character because the character's believable, the character's real. You can see somebody getting into some crazy shit because they're just fucking fed up. They're just done. They're done being pushed around. And that's where that scene in the elevator becomes so prevalent because that's the scene where it's like where it's funny because we talked about, Lorne Malvo setting up, chaotic events and everything. He saw, like Diction said, I agree, the sociopath in Billy Bob's character. He creates this monster, and then the monster grows up and becomes a full-blooded monster. And then Billy Bob and him get in an elevator together, and he goes, "You really want to do this? Like, are you ready to fight now? Are you like he almost made his own nemesis? Like, he's so bored he almost has to make his own nemesis, Billy Bob, just to make things interesting. So he tells him, are you ready? And the predator, the alpha male, the new Lester just can't abide by not saying yes. Like, he can't go back to that life.
He couldn't let it go.
Because he would go back to that life. He would revert back to the coward. He couldn't do it at that point. He just was invested. And that's what I love about that scene the most.
Yeah. I got to interject because Matt Finder in chat mentioned this. It's actually not based on true events. The movie wasn't based on true events.
I know.
That was actually a lie. I forget why the Coen brothers decided to like start the movie with that. But it's not actually based on true events. I think their mother told them a story that was similar that happened in Minnesota when they were children. And that's where they got the idea for it. But it's actually not based on true events. They just start every episode because that's how the movie started.
And that is a great point, because I wanted to talk about this actually. So I have a question for you guys. Now, from what I understood, the fact that they said it was a true story was also to get people more emotionally invested in the story. Because if you tell somebody that it's true, they tend to pay attention more. They tend to care more about what's happening,
right?
and they relate more to it. So they totally they totally fabricate it. They totally lie and say this is a true story. It's totally not true at all. So let me ask you guys, both you guys, either of you can chime in. Is that okay to do to your audience?
That's a good point.
I mean,
is that
honestly,
okay to do to your audience?
Literally every horror movie out right now says it's based on a true story, and almost every single one of them is a complete fucking lie. Like, it's
but is it right?
Lie.
Is it right to lie to your audience?
Right to do it? I mean, I see. Like, I mean, if they can go on the internet in 2 seconds and find out it's not true, I feel like it's whatever. It's totally whatever. I don't really care. I wouldn't feel hurt or manipulated by that as much.
I think if it was a different type of movie, it would be okay. But
if it's a biopic, I really liked the one about Alan Turing, the movie. What's it called? Shit.
Oh, the Imitation Game.
Yeah, I really like that movie, but it's total hagiography because the director of operations, where they like recruited him to try to figure out the key to the puzzle. Right. In the movie, he's like butting heads with them the entire fucking time. Mm-hmm. Right, because that's an obstacle he has to get over. It's like, for filmic, like cinematic reasons, that's like a good thing to have in a story. In real life, he was actually his biggest like fan, and like he was always pushing for whenever Alan came to him with an idea, it was like, go for it, do it. And then if anyone gave him pushback, he was like, go fuck yourself. Alan's a genius, go do it. And also, he was like, they never really got into it, but he was actually a track and field star for a while. Yeah. But they never really showed that in the movie too, which was like, they just kind of showed him as a nerd, with Asperger's. But like stuff like that, where it's like that, I kind of like, okay, you're taking liberties, but when it gets to the point where it's like straight up the guy who fucking pushed Alan Turing to keep doing what he was doing is now his nemesis to the movie, like that's kind of fucked up, dude. Like you're fucking up that guy's legacy, like like you got to make another movie about his story and redo all that. But like when it's stuff like this, where it's just like, okay, this is a true crime story, it's like, but it's not actually. But it could be. It could happen. Maybe it could happen. It's kind of believable until Lorne Malvo goes and does that massacre in the Fargo Syndicate with Key and Peele sitting outside arguing about philosophy.
Yeah, that was like that was like Tarantino like, man.
It was Tarantino like. I like that scene a lot. I don't like it because I feel like it's a little bit beyond what a person is really totally capable of doing.
I like it because it's a tracking shot. I love one-shot takes, and it's one of the better ones out there because it doesn't actually show anything. It's just the windows and all sound effects until the guy flies out the window. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, cinematically, it's a scene that probably took a lot of time and a lot of directing and a lot of work that went into it. I personally, about the true or false, the true story thing, I don't want it to be done because I don't want everyone to do it, but I'm totally okay with it in this situation, just because I don't know. I guess when I first started it, I guess there's this idea of me going, I guess I questioned it so much because I was like, there's no way this is a true story. If it is, they are embellishing. So of course I did what Diction said and I looked it up and it was like, okay, it's not a true story. But the fact that it was made me have that critical approach to it more so than I would. And I think that it's actually pretty fucking brilliant of them to do so. But I can see where some people would get upset or even walk away still thinking that actually happened. And part of me hates that misinformation about anything, you know, like.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Blair Witch, right? It's just, you know, like if we kind of go just whether your audience is, you know, believing
that was
it or
real.
not.
Blair Witch was
they had a website and everything.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, like when people were watching it, they believed it was real, right? But then they realized it wasn't later, and then it was still okay, you know, even later. With this, it's a little bit different because it's supposed to be a bit ironic, right? I mean, it's like it's Coen Brothers style, right, in a way. So it well, not in a way, like the movie actually had it too. So you know, it's their style, it's their sense of just, you know, just their sense of humor. It's this Coen Brother humor. So that's the only reason it worked. If it was literally anybody else doing a Fargo or starting off like that, I'd probably have much more problems with it.
And this, I just want to be clear, Chan, this is your first time seeing this, right, Fargo?
I saw the movie like long time, you know, obviously 20,
but the season,
yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen season 1.
Okay, so I had seen it once. I think Dick had seen it like 2 times, and then
like
Chan,
10,
you've seen it
maybe even 20,
like
honestly.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind.
It's one of my favorite movies of all
20
time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's in the
Gotcha.
top.
I was just talking about season 1.
Season 1. That was my 3rd time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You saw it, so you were going into it having watched it twice. I went in once, Chanman went in not at all. So just in case anybody's ever like, oh, did you guys know about this before? You know, that kind of thing. Because I think it's fun to hear opinions of people who haven't seen this stuff as opposed to people who have gone back and been able to watch the details again.
That's kind of cool about the show too. It's like there's always one of us on the show that's never seen what we do. So that's the nice thing.
So yeah, it makes the conversation a lot easier. So let me ask you guys this. I think we all pretty much loved the show. Chan, you liked it, right?
It fantastic.
Okay, it was fantastic. But what didn't you guys? Was there anything about it you guys just didn't like? And I will start out by saying I didn't like the fish scene.
Yeah. That whole biblical thing and
so out of. I don't mind the whole biblical thing because I think it came to a pretty cool head. Like I think that the boyfriend getting murdered while he's strapped to the thing. I thought the whole thing was pretty well thought out and it was a cool way to kind of off a character. But at the same time, I thought that was the only thing that made me go, I'm watching a show. Like most of the time you're in it until that fish scene happens, and then I just got totally thrown out of my immersion.
I mean, they explain it logistically in the next scene that a tornado went through one of the lakes and picked up all those fish, and that's why that happened. But thematically, okay, so Malvo's fucking with the Chain King, who is deeply religious because he found the money from the movie, and that changed his life forever and everything. And so he promised God that he would worship him for the rest of his life. So Malvo uses that against him and starts fucking with his faith essentially, and making him think that God is coming back for revenge for what for the fact that he's now kind of a criminal, you know, and he hasn't really been worshiping him the way he promised to. And so that all of that stuff is fabricated, of the locust in the story, and the blood in his shower, his dog, all that stuff is completely fabricated by Malvo. And so he finally snaps, and unfortunately Malvo doesn't get the money and he goes back to bury it. And then what I liked about it was because it was absolutely, I thought it was brilliant because in that moment, his firstborn son was killed in an act of God, in an actual act of God by his standards. He was killed by raining fish from a fucking tornado. Whereas everything else was completely just a prank. But as far as he's concerned, that's the last we see of his character. As far as he's concerned, God just completely flipped his life upside down and punished him for not worshiping him the way he wanted him to. And that's why I thought it worked.
I like that afterward, right? And I get all that. And
in the moment, it's like it's like the
Yes.
raining frogs in the end of Magnolia. It's like, okay, there's no explanation for that. It's just raining frogs, you know. But yeah. So like as it's happening, you're like, whoa, this is getting like extra weird, even for a Coen Brothers type production. But yeah,
but it gets even weirder in season 2. It gets even weirder in season 2.
It gets way weirder, yeah.
But we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, it was one of the few scenes that I went like, what? Like, what am I really watching here? And I love the addition of that, like an act of God, just like you said. I love that because it is almost like, wow, Malvo was fucking with them all along. Hey, maybe God really was okay with it. Like maybe God really did want to punish this guy. It's kind of miraculous how he finds the money, and I'm assuming that's the money that was buried in Fargo, right? The movie.
That's the money.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense because he finds it 2 years after. And I mean, I'm sorry, like it's cold up there, but it's not always snowing. He buried it in snow. Snow melts in the spring. Like someone would have found that by then. Because like he even finds the ice scraper still standing up perfectly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even think about that. But it's cool that they at least tied in the movie that, like, you know what, this fucked up situation has continued to produce even more fucked up situations. Yeah, and it's all kind of that everything that bad can go happen will happen. You know, that Murphy's Law, like when it's like almost like that money's cursed almost, you know. To a degree. But anywho, I just thought that was kind of a weird moment. But apparently that can actually happen in real life.
Oh, that's happened before, yep.
Yeah, the fish thing can actually happen. Yes, it can happen in real life.
Tornadoes pull things into them, and then once they dissipate, everything falls back down. It doesn't actually throw objects like a hurricane will. So if a tornado becomes a water spout, if they're on hapless fish near the surface, they'll get sucked into it and then just dropped wherever the tornado ends.
Yeah, I actually looked this up. It does happen, which is insane to think about. Yeah, but it was just one of those. And I think the only other thing that I can say that kind of bothers me about the show is it has like 99% of the time its dialogue is genius, right? And that whole like, oh, there used to be maps that said dragons were here and stuff like that.
Yeah,
super fucking cool.
All the like the Midwestern like isms that people say. Like, I love those. I love them.
It's beautiful, but occasionally, and only occasionally, again, this is my very, very small gripe, is that it gets a little too poetic sometimes. And with characters that don't necessarily have that kind of like rapport with you yet as a viewer, like the one guy that like randomly stops and talks to Tom Hanks' son. What's his name? I forget his name.
Colin
Hanks. Gus.
Yeah,
Gus Grimley.
Oh, Gus.
Yes, Gus. Yeah, Gus. You know, like he just comes over there and he tells the whole story about the guy, and he's really philosophical.
No. He's a rabbi. He's a rabbi.
Oh, he's a rabbi. But even then, when he's like, when he runs into Lorne Malvo, he goes, you have dark eyes, you know, you are blah, blah, blah. You know, and I can see a rabbi maybe doing something like that, but like sometimes I felt like their dialogue was a little poetic at times. Like it was like, okay, we get it. The dialogue's really good. Now I'm seeing your dialogue, you know, like it's almost like Clerks. You know how like the banter is so good it had to be written out, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it has that same feel to it sometimes in the show where I'm like, you can tell this was written out exactly the way they wanted it to, which I don't want to see when I'm watching something. I want that escape. I want the dialogue to flow naturally and seem natural. So that was my only gripe about probably the only two things I dislike about the whole entire show is the fish scene.
It's hard to pick something, actually. I think
you don't have to pick something if you don't want to.
I mean, if I am to be critical,
if there were anything, it's just too small compared to how much good there is in it. You know, like
I mean, maybe some things with Molly every once in a while, like. You know, if I compare her to
what about her, I fucking loved her.
Yeah,
she was she
was amazing. But there were definitely some moments where it's just like I kind of remember Frances McDormand, you know, like in the original movie, and
they were definitely like playing back to that a lot, especially once she gets pregnant. Like
but she was, you know, Frances McDormand was a much stronger, you know, personality. I felt like, and even just, you know, with her role too. I think I forget exactly what her title was back in the movie. But I felt like at times with Molly, and you know, she's only a deputy, but she's obviously the only smart person there, right? And
she would get walked on by Bob Odenkirk all the time.
Right,
and walks over.
She feels really strongly about it. I mean, it freaking like she's obsessed with it, even when she goes home and whatnot. And I feel like if that were the case, she would just at times just ignore what the chief would say and just go. Like there was that one time she's
reckless.
Yeah, I mean, I think
reckless cop.
I would have liked to see her a little bit more reckless. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Like when Gus, like when they were first getting together, and he was he was going to interview Lauren, right? Like they had Lauren go in, right? Or he arrested Lauren. They were gonna have Molly was going to drive down and interview him, and that never happened. And Molly just kind of like let that, like Molly knew it was a huge moment, right? To have him actually in custody, to actually get a chance to talk to this person and try, maybe just solve the case, right? And she was originally just going to go, and then she just mentions it, and he's like, no, I'm going to go. And she knows how terrible that is for the chief to go, because he's a total buffoon, right? So I don't know. There were moments where I just wish she would have stepped up. But yeah, there's only like one or two moments. Again, like she was awesome, like otherwise, as acting wise, and I think just her just level headedness and she really kept, everything on point. Like instead of it just going off and having Lauren just completely fool everybody, she was that one constant, just character in the storyline that would just keep trying to figure out, about Lester, right? Lester pretty much fooled everybody, and he would have gotten away with it, no doubt, if Molly didn't exist. So she was just that one character that had to exist in the plot.
Also, her last name is Solverson. Solve.
Oh, I didn't actually. Yeah, Solverson.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on IMDb. Yeah. It's actually spelled Solverson.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about her character is, it's an apprentice becoming the teacher kind of thing with her.
But who's
at the beginning
master,
of the show,
like,
her original chief, the original chief that was there that got shot at the beginning scene when they go to the car accident, Lord Malvo's car accident, where the guy ended up popping out the trunk and running off into the whatever and freezing to death.
Yeah.
In that scene, she walks up and her boss walks up with her, and she's like, blood on the thing. He's like, maybe a deer. And she's like, oh, I haven't found it. He's like, you check the trunk, the deer's there.
Oh, right,
she's like, I didn't even think about that. I don't know why I didn't think about checking the trunk. And then he's like, well, here's this and this and this. And he's like, he's the badass, right? Yeah. He's the badass. And he shows up on scene and points out things that makes her feel a little foolish even. And she learns from that. She takes that and she applies it to herself, but you see her making mistakes, as she's trying to kind of come into her role, And so she's learned under this guy. This guy gets killed. She was going to be the one to take over. Then this other buffoon takes over, which hinders her, greatly. Yeah. But ultimately, she's still kind of trying to figure out how to be the badass herself. And by the time she has the kid and, she comes back on the workforce later in the season, I think she's like figured it out, right? She's so much more confident. She says what's on her mind. Like, she doesn't let shit get in the way. She stays on it. She's smart, right? But like at the beginning, you have that shaky whatever. But you know what? And this is an overall theme in the show is intuition. And that's why you have these cops that are female that are such like powerful roles and get things done in Fargo the movie and Fargo the show because of the intuition. Everybody has intuition in that show. You'll see it. They'll just go and they'll check something or they'll do something, but the women way more than anybody else. She went. I mean, what are the chances of her checking behind the dryer? To find the hammer, like what were the chances of her going to that spot? Now, thankfully, Lester had the intuition to take it away just in time, but like, why would she do? Why?
Oh, because she might have seen some. No, yeah, it wasn't like against the wall. He pulled it against away from the wall, so it looked suspicious.
I know, but at the same time, but why would she go behind it right to the spot? Like it almost took no time.
I would hide the weapon if I murdered someone.
But I still think intuition is the main factor there.
Seriously, I mean, come on. The hammer should have been in the bottom of the lake. I mean, like in that frozen lake or so. I mean, something.
Yeah, but Lester's not exactly a career criminal. He's pretty fucking stupid. Most of the time, he gets away with shit with his blind luck and just like, because people are so unassuming. Like how he gets the hospital sequence, that elaborate escape and return where he like fakes that he's the guy that's all bandaged up in the next bed and stuff, and like it's like a really long sequence, but it's like completely dependent on people just being completely oblivious to him. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I just my point was that I think that intuition plays a big part in the show, and there's no either by myth, legend, or realism, there's no one with better intuition than women, and so they follow that gut feeling, they follow that intuition in both, again, the movie and the show, and it leads you down all sorts of different paths. But they're almost the only characters that stay that have the fortitude to stay on track. Like everybody else gets distracted with other things and doing stuff and starting a life, and like even the chief guy is like adopting some kid from Africa and his focus is on that. But she, even though she has these other things in her life, her job is her priority. Like she's obsessed. That's what she does. And she can't let this thing go. She feels it. She feels it that it's wrong. She feels Lester's wrong. She feels there's something there. She just doesn't let it go.
I think what was interesting also about her character, or the most, the thing I did like about her character was just that feeling you had that she was physically weak. Like if she came in, if she crossed paths with Lauren would kill her like almost instantly. Like at least you got that feeling. And and they played it up too, like especially at the end where Gus was telling her not to go out there, and it just reaffirmed feelings that I had just during the entire thing. It's just like if they ever cross paths, that would be really bad. And there was one scene where when I was watching it, I thought it was like super cool, like the whole snow scene, the outside, where she ends up shooting the deaf guy or whatever, and you kind of think that she shoots Lauren at one point, but it turns out it's just the deaf guy, right? But that whole scene, I think stylistically was done like super well. Like it was visually, it was very impaired because it was out in the blizzard, and it was cool that they couldn't see each other, and everybody was literally standing probably a few yards from each other, and they didn't realize it. But then I was just like, what purpose did Gus have shooting Molly? Like, was there any reason for that?
Oh, he just straight up didn't see her because there's a whiteout.
I know, but like, was there purpose to that? I guess in the plot,
I feel like it kind of brought them closer.
Okay.
In the end, like it also kind of like reaffirmed his belief that he shouldn't be a cop.
Oh, okay.
Like he definitely should not be a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back on that one. Otherwise, I think that it did tend to show her level of competency. I mean, she did, even though it was a blizzard and everything, take out a guy with an assault rifle. If I were to walk into a blizzard against a dude with an assault rifle and come out on top with a handgun, fuck everything. I'm a god. That's really tough to do. Now that person wasn't expecting her. Who knows what you were expecting in those kind of conditions. But I think that scene. And I don't think I appreciated it as much the first time I watched it as I did the second time, where you finally see, these dragons battling it out. These three dudes who are alpha males, they're finally and you see how crazy Lorne Malvo is, like what kind of level he's on, where both of these guys come at him with assault rifles, just unloading on his car. He's in a car. He escapes the car, kills one of them, and gets out of there. Pretty much unscathed, which is insane considering the disadvantage he had. So if anything, with Gus shooting her, I think it made it easier to explain how Lauren got out of there. But yeah, I think it definitely helped their relationship. I think it helped Gus as a character move on, which I think makes it more valuable and more powerful when in the end he does find and kill Lauren, because it's almost like redemption. I fucked up. Like, she had that guy. I should have had him. And he's the least likely. He's the, besides Lester, he's the most cowardly character we're presented with pretty much. So it's only natural that he would come back and be the one. And in such a an awesome display of just like
Satisfying.
no hesitation, satisfying kill. You know, it's crazy.
And again, it's like it was really cool. Like at least again, Molly just physically, whether she was pregnant or just generally, like you know, you don't imagine her taking down like a super villain. I mean, she's got the brains for it, but you know, when it comes to actually being out there, you know, and being the person that shoots him, you don't see that. So they did an excellent job with that.
Yeah, and I think it's season 2, and I may be wrong about this, but I don't want to spoil anything. I think it's
the show.
Yeah,
that's what we do here.
I know, but I don't want to a season 2 yet because we're not into season 2 yet. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, blow anything up because there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in that. But I think it does kind of explain a little bit more where Molly comes from and her past and stuff, because season 2, I don't know if you know this, Chad, but season 2 is Sioux Falls. You know how they reference it in season 1? They're just like, oh yeah, back in Sioux Falls.
So it's a prequel, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the whole season is her dad, like a younger dad, played by the dude who's in Watchmen. Yeah, who played the owl in Watchmen.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like the whole story of Sioux Falls. So you get to see like a young Molly and her parents and like how that interacted with her, and you know how she grew up and why he's retired and all this stuff. So that goes more into her background. So I think she has a little bit more competency, especially with firearms, than I think it lets on in the first season. But he truly is a badass, her dad.
Yeah, he seemed like a badass, and I thought they were gonna go at it that one scene in the diner, because they were, you know, the buildup was totally there.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that was tense.
I mean, for a while, I thought everybody that Billy Bob just ran into or would fuck with, he would kill. And I mean, I think by that time he established that, you know, there were maybe like a couple scenes where he didn't end up killing whoever he was, you know, had any kind of interaction with, at least that kind of crazy, you know, flip the switch interaction. But for sure, the music, the build up, the scene, just flipping to Molly, still driving up, I thought for sure he was dead. But nope, he got out of there, and it was just more of a you know, just a near miss type of thing with everybody.
It was the contrast, right? It was the contrast in the way that Lauren talked to everybody else in Minnesota, basically. And he was using that same, oh, I'm just a nice guy, I'm here out of town visiting my friend thing. And he started to use that, and it was just their dad was just totally unfazed. You know, it was this moment where we as the audience knew this conversation that was happening underneath the conversation that we were hearing, and this was Lauren recognizing another alpha, you know, like another predator, and he just didn't fall for any of his little like tricks, like, you know, oh, I'm from out of town. Well, I would call him, but I want to surprise him, you know, like, oh, he's like, well, sounds like you're in a pickle. You know, he's just not falling into any of it. And it's like, yeah, I think at any moment, either of those two dudes would have gone at it and it would have been fucking insane. But I like the fact that they didn't. It's like they almost knew without saying exactly what they were. And so they kind of parted ways. I think that's why Lauren didn't kill him, because he knew that this would have been a scuffle. You know, like he didn't need this scuffle right now. You know, he needed information.
Could have been killed. It could have been a self-preservation thing too for him, right?
Yeah. I mean, it very well could have been. You know, so it made that scene so intense that I don't think you need to kill the dad. I think that you get all the feelings that you want out of that scene when it's happening, the tension without the, you know, explosiveness of some kind of finale. And that's kind of what the show's about anyways. It's about the journey. It's like, it's not about the ending really, to me. I mean, there's few things happen in the end, you're like, oh, crazy. But like Lester falling through the ice, come on, it's kind of a shitty ending. It's like, it's kind of lame. I'm just kind of like, bah. But the thing is it's the journey. It's everything that leads up to that moment where you just finally see this guy's just fucked. He's run to the he's run out of places to run. You know, he's lied himself into the ultimate.
I like that. I like that more than him getting like shot or just plain arrested.
Yeah,
like, I felt like it was good comeuppance, because early in the show that was almost his fate already when the hitmen were taking him out to like throw him under the ice. Yeah. So, but he escaped that. So it was kind of like
he escaped by punching the cop in the face. That was awesome. See, he was so smart too, Lester, right? Like he knew instantly to punch the cop in the face because that would get him arrested.
Yeah, no, he did some stupid shit that was actually secretly brilliant to get himself out of these situations.
Oh no, he was great. I mean, he was a smart guy. Lester, when he started to get his confidence, you were starting to see his potential.
When he was the only guy to solve the riddle too, right? I mean, that was kind of the whole point of him being, when they were the whole fox and the typical riddle at the boat, right? I mean, everybody's heard that riddle, and
he gets it like right away. Exactly. He just like asks one question: "Can I go backwards?" Okay, then this is how you do it. Like he's a problem solver, but it's usually it's always his own problems that he has to solve, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's crazy because even in even more depth into the character, that he essentially became everything he hated. Like. He wanted this confidence. He wanted all this power and money, and he wanted to be as good as his brother, and he wanted to fuck his wife like, a fucking madman, and like all this stuff. He wanted all this, and then once he got it, he became exactly what they were, which was a bunch of people that he despised. He hated the way they treated him. But you know what? The first thing he does when he walks up to Lorne and later, he's like, "Oh, look at this award I got. Look how great I am. Oh yeah, by the way, that was, they all showed up here just for me." Like he's like showing him all. He's like just being that egotistical asshole that picked on him his whole entire life. So it's like he didn't even realize the change. He was just trying to be confident. I love that depth to that character, as well. Sorry, just as a side thing. So, and I also want to mention that if any of you guys want to join in on this discussion in any way, shape, or form, please let us know. You can either post, if you're, too shy and you want to post questions or comments. It doesn't have to be a question. It can just be a comment on something. Please post in the chat. Or if you're really, really sexy, you'll get into the Discord with Monkey Overlord. Talk to him in the chat if you're interested. And you can come on the call and share some thoughts with us. We love having you guys on here sharing your thoughts with us because we only see so much. I'm sure everybody has a unique opinion on certain things or just scenes they liked or whatever. So please share it with us.
Yeah. They're definitely going to happening soon too. So and just Monkey will get you set up. So the only thing is that you talk to Monkey and then Monkey will basically relay it to us and then you'll be on with us, which will be really cool. That's cool.
Man.
What else?
What
else is there
else?
to talk
There's
about?
so much
there is
to talk
so
about.
much. It's just like
one thing that like really struck me was that from the first episode, the score was like an alternate version of the theme song from the movie. And that for some reason that bothered me because I really love Carter Burwell's score for Fargo. I think it's one of the best like cinema scores ever.
Beautiful.
And so that kind of bugged me. And then the very last scene, they do the original song from the opening of Fargo, and it was just like, oh, finally. You kept me in suspense, but you have the song in here because I was worried it was like some sort of, I don't know, like weird like copyright thing, but apparently it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Well, the one thing we haven't talked about is the music is so powerful and it's so good and it gets it's
good.
Not over the top. It's right where it should be in those tense scenes. The drums start playing like doom doom. Doom, doom, doom. Like they start playing those drums and that's all. And it's almost like somebody just sat down at a drum set and did a little beat and just did a little ditty. Like whenever they're talking and he's got him about to go on the ice, it's all the hat, it's like, and then whenever, it starts to pick up, it's the doom, doom. It's like, it's so simple. It's just like a drum set. That's it. That's all you needed. And then it's like when the things started really to pop off, do, 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 like, it's crazy, man. It's so good. It's so simple and so brilliant. It's that notion of less is more, where some scenes and action scenes, they're like playing like the craziest, most, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is it just needs a beat. That's all you really need for human nature to understand where this is going. All you need is just a beat. Just a little beat that picks up. Yeah, man. It's one of the few things that every human, no matter what language you come from, can relate to is music and rhythm and vibration, right? So it's one of those things that's like super powerful when done right, and it's so simple, and it's just it's just perfect. So kudos to the music, especially during the action scenes and stuff. The drum beat's sick. I just want to listen to that drum beat. Just like while I go, you know what? The next trip I go on, I'm just gonna put my headset in with that. I'm just have that playing no matter what I'm doing. I make everything epic. Like going up the escalator, you know, and then like I get off into it's like
it does create a mood.
Security.
It totally creates a mood, man.
It'll make getting through security so much better, so much more interesting.
TSA line.
I gotta pull up the chat, man. I don't even have the chat. My bad, guys. My bad. So let me ask you guys a question. Did you feel, and I know how I feel about this, but did you guys feel like when you watched season 1 of Fargo, there was this chance that you might walk away like hating the Fargo like universe more than you would if you would have just watched the movie before you watch it? Was there that worry for you?
I was worried before reviews came out, because I read reviews before I watched it. I was worried that like it was going to be some sort of cash in, that it wasn't going to be taken as seriously as it needed to be.
Well, they tried, right?
It didn't make me think that I would hate Fargo the movie or anything, but like, yeah, I was.
Well, they had tried spinoffs, right? Or they had tried TV shows in the past, and they were bad. And I believe like I think there were 2 attempts before this version of Fargo, and they were not very good. So I believe so. They were. Let me double check. I could have sworn there was.
Yeah, we got to look this up, man.
Yeah, there were a couple. There were a couple attempts at the TV show. I definitely remember that.
Really?
I might have even seen one. Let me see.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know one way or the other.
There were some kind of attempts at doing a TV show with the Fargo world in the past. I know that for sure. And they weren't very good. At least I remember seeing, just critics or whatnot talking about it, and it wasn't good at all. So it never got much momentum, and people didn't even talk about it. So a lot of people actually think that I think this TV series is the first attempt at it, but it's not. Let me see, where is it?
I had no idea, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither.
Gosh, I have to find it. I'll find it later. It's better than just like searching.
It's fine. No, it's fine.
Here,
but did you go into it thinking that by the time you got done with season 1, you wouldn't like the universe as much if you just watched the movie? Chan?
Well, I mean, it's been so long since I've seen the movie, to be honest. Like, it was. I mean, I didn't have any expectations, like whether good or bad. But Diction.
Follow-up question. Follow-up question. Do you guys feel like that it embodied the Fargo universe? Did you feel Fargo when you watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, for
definitely.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. Immediately I did. It's really crazy how they were able to capture the essence of Fargo in a totally different story based out over, a 10 episode TV show. Like, that is so hard to do sometimes, and people fuck it up so often when they try to take movies to shows or vice versa, that it's so nice to see somebody actually do it well. But yeah, no, it was incredible to watch. I forgot how much I liked that series. And it's a series you don't really think about. Like, when somebody says, like, what's your favorite series? I never think Fargo season 1, but I should, but I never do. Like, everything else pops into my head. I don't know why Fargo doesn't pop up. Would you say it's like, do you think about Fargo, Diction, whenever somebody says, like, what's one of your favorite shows? Do you say Fargo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I don't think about Fargo. I throw out like a handful of other things.
I mean, there are a lot of great TV shows right now. So, I mean, to pick, one is difficult, periods. So Fargo being your favorite, like if you were to actually say that, Nick, that says a lot about Fargo, because there are a lot of amazing TV shows right now.
Yeah. I think the reason it's up there is because it's an anthology series. So there's no weak episodes. It's 10 solid episodes.
Yeah.
Whereas like Breaking Bad, even though that's also on my like top 10, there are weak episodes. It's 5 seasons long. There are some weak episodes that are not very memorable compared to the rest of them, But with Fargo, it's like every episode is important. It's got a lot of great moments, a lot of really good moments. and it's extraordinarily cinematic and just beautiful. And so I feel like that's what makes it stand out. Same with like True Detective. You know, it's 10 self-contained, solid fucking episodes. Season 2, not
exactly. I was gonna say, really?
Yeah, except for season 2. I really liked some things about season 2. But anyways, you know what we haven't talked about is the comedy, actually, that inserts itself into the show. It's so subtle, but it's so funny, and it's character comedy for the most part. It's like it's almost like King of the Hill. People who don't understand why King of the Hill is funny don't understand character comedy. Like, they really don't. Like an emphasis on this is only funny because of who this character is. You know, that kind of comedy where somebody might tell a funny joke and everybody go, oh, that's just funny for everybody. This is only funny because this person said it. So in some scenes in that, and it's something we haven't really talked about, one of the reasons I think that any work of art, you know, like shows, television, movies, all that stuff, is this small dose of comedy they throw in, even with all this chaotic stuff happening. And that's one of the reasons, like, I feel like Blizzard was so successful as a video game company. You know, they had this serious story and everything, but they weren't afraid to like have it where the sheeps explode if you click them too much in the RTS. You know, it's like these little funny things that they have. And so the dialogue it's really powerful and very good and well written, but at the same time, it makes you laugh. Like, there's times in the show where I laughed out loud. And I think it's important to have that because the comedy and just the small doses makes the action, the intensity of the scenes way more powerful. I think it's a flow, and it flows so nicely between, you know, to, oh shit, those guys are shooting at each other and want to do this, you know.
I mean, they freaking had Key and Peele in the series.
Yeah, what was the point of Key and Peele?
That's
what I want to ask. That was where I was going. I was kind of going with this so we have the comedy part of this, right, in the dialogue, but why add Key and Peele? And I know they're big and they're funny dudes, very talented, but at the same time, it's like I felt I didn't understand where they came into all of this other than just to show up and maybe give a little bit more resources to Molly. Like, I mean, what was the point of these? Diction, in your opinion, what was the point of Key and Peele?
I mean, they kind of, I don't know, they felt kind of like a Greek chorus. Like, they're always having these really weird, obscure conversations. I know, but they were in the plot. They belonged in the plot because they fucking like slept on a giant 27 mass murderer, you know, and they get put in the file cabinet, and then they get there a year later. They finally like come back to the case, and they're obsessed just like Molly about this guy. Like, who is he? What is the connection with him and this syndicate and all this stuff? I didn't feel like they were out of place. It was really cool seeing them though. Like, oh shit, it's Key and Peele.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I think there was a little too much emphasis on them. I think I would have liked to see them less. I think I was fine with them being there. I just think there were just, I don't know, too many scenes with them in it. And Diction or Chan, what did you feel like as like somebody who watched it for the first time?
Like Key and Peele?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely was different. Like, obviously, their comedy and what they bring to the series was a different flavor than everything else. Like, you know, those scenes that you're talking about that were funny, and I mean, it was kind of a, you know, it's just the style, the Fargo kind of comedy, right? And you were laughing out loud. It was nothing like Key and Peele at all, you know. So I don't know. There's just more of an explicit type of comedy, you know, like just their interaction is what you laugh at versus more of a situational kind of comedy where that's what you were seeing with some of the scenes with Lester or you know, some of the, I'm trying to remember. There were definitely like 2 or 3 scenes where I was just like literally laughing. God, what were some of the scenes?
What, just that were funny?
What were some of the funny, super funny scenes that?
It's just like it's little things that happen so quick. Again, it's small doses, so it's not very memorable, but it's enough to make you kind of chuckle.
I'm trying to remember them now.
I'm trying to remember them too.
It's crazy because I remember thinking, actually, I can't wait to talk about this on the show, and now I can't even remember what it is.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I said, it's such small doses that it's just enough to. It's almost like an upper to the downers, you know. Yeah. Like they give you all these downers, and you're all down, and then they give you this one little upper, and you're like, okay, that's good. And then you're like, okay, back on the downers, it makes the down more.
Well, there were like moments like the Aces thing, right? With Billy Bob, and he was just like Aces.
Yeah.
There were more of those. Actually, a lot of them were Billy Bob, I believe. Just his interaction was just
his
him and Lester.
Yeah,
for sure. I think some of the interactions between Molly and Gus were kind of funny too. Just how like painfully oblivious he is in some situations, and how she has to like map it out for him, like how like even like in the scene I kind of chuckled when he's talking to her on the phone and he's like, well, we're gonna go to the fair if you want to go to the fair. And she's like, yeah, I want to go to the fair. He's like, well, we hope to see you there. And she's like, well, it's a certainty if we go together, and he's like, oh, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I don't know. It's little stuff like that between the characters that made it kind of giggle, but it's nothing like right in your face funny. Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask, what about the kid? Did you guys think he was going to rat him out? Because he sees him. He's the only person who could really take him down before his dad. Well, and the nephew never says anything ever, even after he goes to school, even after his dad's framed, like nothing.
They explained they said in the first episode that the doctor said he might be autistic.
Yes.
He doesn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I took from that is like, oh, he was worried, but then like maybe those thoughts were like confirmed because he just ignored it. It was just like, whatever, my uncle's here. Okay.
Maybe, but at the same time, he's so assertive. Like there's scenes where he asserts himself, even with his autism. Like he just says it.
Yeah, like he tells his parents to be quiet while he's watching TV.
He goes language.
Language. So, that's what it was. Yeah.
And his dad even looks at him like, "Who the fuck are you telling me language?" Like. But the thing is, and they don't stop him from that. Because he's autistic. Like his dad didn't go, "Hey, you don't tell me when or when not to." Like if I was a dad and Junie was like. Language. I'd be like, don't you language don't you language me? You don't patrol my vocabulary, like anyways, but that's how I would have acted. But this kid, they didn't with him. So I thought this was leading up to whenever he sees Lester.
Yeah.
And the gun pops out and everything, that this kid does speak up and says something, but nobody listens to him because he's autistic. That was where I was falling with. This kid would make a point. This kid would say, no, Lester was in our house that day. And them just go, oh, you can't believe this kid, he's autistic. Where Molly would go, tell me everything. Yeah. Everybody else is going, well, the kid's autistic, like, what does he really know? It's kind of like that small town ignorance kind of thing, like I felt like there was an opportunity there, but it like, what was the point of that scene to you guys then? Like, what was the point of the scene of him seeing Lester there and the intensity of that scene?
Just another instance of him almost getting caught.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but I thought for sure that would. You guys didn't feel like it would when the first time you watched it, Chan. I mean, this is the first time you watched it, but like you guys didn't feel like there was a point where you thought that would come back.
I mean, it was definitely an open
like
end.
that would have been the thing.
It was definitely an open end.
I mean. I just remember the autism thing, so I figured like, oh, he probably just never mentioned it because he's autistic and he has other things on his mind, Like it was just like didn't even matter to him. Just like, oh, Lester's here because Lester comes over sometimes. Oh, hey, he was here, whatever.
Yeah.
Like he just wouldn't make that connection,
It kind of sets it up too. It almost sets it up a little bit too when you first he opens the door for him and Lester and his wife like in the very beginning, right? And then he shuts it. Yeah,
he shuts
it on them.
Yeah.
I mean, so it already set like some precedent with the kid that he
just like doesn't give a shit about anything outside of his own world. So he probably like that's what I reasoned was like he just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I can see that. That's why when he's watching TV, he would yell out and be like language, Like, but it wasn't even like be quiet though. It was like language. I don't know, man. Like it was
like a normal kid would do.
Sometimes
like
with autism, when you're a parent, you give them rules, like that they need to follow them. It's a lot harder for them to stick to them. So you got to make them simple. So language is one of them. Maybe he used to have outbursts where he would swear a lot, and so they made a rule language. And so then with autism. That rule applies to everyone when you have autism. Like that rule applies to everyone, not just me, because that makes them upset. So that's so like if there's a rule in a house, everyone has to do it, or else like a lot of the times the autistic kid will be upset by that. It's like, why do I have to do it if you're not doing it? So that's what I got from that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes a little bit more sense. The other thing, you know, speaking of kids, the two boys, I like the descriptions people have for each other in the show. Like, you like their mom calls them, oh, they're just a couple of wolves, you know, like they're just animals. And that's like, if I could see the manifestation of two wolves and people, like two young wolves with their dad, who's like the alpha male wolf, you know, it's like, I can see that animal manifestation of two wolves and these two boys, you know, because they are kind of like that. They sense blood, they sense weakness, they get a little riled up, you know, oh, you want to fight? Oh, you know, that kind of thing. But they're stupid and they're playful too, you know, they're just idiots. I love, like I said, I just love the description of that people have for other characters in the show. Like next time, if you watch through it, just pay attention how people describe each other. And it's almost always animalistic. It's pretty interesting actually. So, but anyways, I digress. I feel like I've been talking for a while. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on with the show? Anything that you guys, when you were watching it, you went, man, I really hope I bring this up? Because there's always, whenever we get done, I always find myself going like, man, I totally forgot to talk about this. And I forgot to talk about that. So when we get to this part, you know, almost an hour and a half in, where it starts to kind of slow down, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about? Because now's the time.
I don't know. I feel like we've covered.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for folks that haven't watched it, like after watching maybe one or two episodes, you just know it's good instantly. You know, like, cause I messaged you guys after I watched like 2 episodes, and I was like already saying, oh my God, this series is awesome. I messaged these guys like on Skype or something, and you'll get that feeling like immediately, especially if you love Fargo the movie. If you love Fargo the movie, there's no question you're gonna instantly love this.
Yeah, you'll dig it.
Yeah,
totally dig it.
Totally. Okay, so why don't we take some questions from Twitch chat? If I think Monkey's trying to work with one person to get on here, just with Discord and whatnot. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in Twitch chat, or you can tweet me at Chanmanv or one of us, and I guess any tweets will take precedent over the Twitch chat.
Sure, go for it.
There is a question, hold on, in the chat from New Age Films. It says, is anyone else turned on by these 3 hot-ass men? No, just me. Alrighty then. I would like to say that I myself am attracted to 2 of them. Sorry, Chanman. I'm just not into
it's the beard, right? It's gotta be the beard.
But I want to say that I agree with the sentiment of the question and the essence of it. I feel like there are 3 hot men here. I just only see 2. That's all.
Oh my God! I'm turning him off right now.
Listen, no, God, he's in
control. Here we go.
Help me.
You know what's coming.
I'm gonna get muted.
You know what's coming. Oh man, there it is.
You guys
all right,
there it is.
Damn it! Now I'm in what is it? Boy Meets World picture. My Boy Meets World picture. Here, put it back up. Put it back up real quick. For those of you who are listening to this, there's a picture of me, and it looks like I should be on the cast of Boy Meets World. Like I should be Corey Matthews. That's his name, right? Corey Matthews?
Corey. That's right.
God damn it, man. Okay, actually, serious question. What do you guys think of how they took out Dawn?
That was an awesome. He used Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny. He was like the lackey dude that Lord was using.
I briefly talked about
it. Yeah, the whole.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was
like
guy. Such a. Like I just love where he's like talking about the money with them, and he's like, he's like, do you have a cupboard that locks or whatever? Do you have a closet that locks? Like, yeah, over here. And then he just keeps talking to him. It's like, you had a drill. He's like, oh yeah. And he's just like, can you get inside? He's like, okay, sure. And he just keeps talking to him about like what he wants to do with the money and shit. And he starts locking him in. He's like, did you want me to lock me in here?
What do you think of 60-40?
I want you to lose focus. I want you to stay fresh. That's why I need you in here.
What do you think of 60-40? I mean, it's just like, are you
what do you
serious?
think of 60-40? And then like he fucking has them all taped up. He's like, 60-40 doesn't work for me, by the way. And then they're just that whole fucking just like with the classical like ballet music and the fucking bullets flying. And he's
did
just,
they
like,
shoot
up and he can't do anything?
Did they shoot way too many times at that guy? I feel like he took like 100 bullets.
No.
Holy crap!
Like, listen. Let me explain something, okay? People who are on a local police department SWAT team, and I know this from experience. I know this from hanging out with these guys. I know this from my sister trying to become part of SWAT. Like, those guys get so hard at the thought of taking out somebody or busting into a house or doing a mission or whatever. Okay, I call it a mission. It's not really a mission, but basically these guys live for this shit. Okay, if they're on this, so they're not being paid like extra or anything. It's like not, I don't think you ever get, maybe some people do, they get paid extra, but like at least not in our police department, I don't believe. And the thing is that these guys just do it because they love it. So whenever those people walk in, first of all, shots have been fired from the house while they're there. They're tense. They're thinking, whatever I see, if it's got a gun pointed at me, I'm going to blow it up. And those guys go in there with adrenaline, with that intensity, with that kind of passion for what they do. And they see a guy that with a gun in front of them, and their whole training has taught them this is the moment you shoot. You know, like this is everything. Everything you've worked up to has come to this situation. So all those guys, like they're almost like peeking over each other's shoulders trying to shoot. Sometimes like it looks like those guys are ready, man. And so when they open up that thing and they see the gun, it's a gun. The first person who fires the bullet. It's a lot of times like that. And you're told to shoot to kill. And that means like you just unload on that motherfucker. You make sure you don't take any chances. That's why you find like in a lot of these cases, crazy, where officers do have to open up fire, you do find, you know, dude was shot 46 times plus, you know, something like that. Happens a lot because you know what? You watch too many movies where you shoot the guy twice trying to be cool, and then he just has enough, you know, whatever to pull out his gun and shoot you one last time. They don't fuck around, man. They're going to shoot you, and they're going to shoot you over and over and over again. That was realistic. That wasn't like just cinematography. That was what happens, man. They all will unload on your ass. Now, let me ask you a question. What would you do in his situation? What would you do in his situation if you were tied to a thing with a gun? You know, like you are, and you can hear the radio chatter of the people about to bust, and you know you're fucked. What would you do? I know what I would do, but what would you guys do?
I mean, like, assuming you can't rock the thing, like, you couldn't, like, knock yourself over or rock that certain way, or, I mean, what do you mean? Like, you're just taped.
You are in that situation. You are taped. Lorne Malvo has left you there in that situation. That's you. What would you do? Let's assume that you can't knock it over. How would you react? What would you say? What's the one thing that you could do to get you out of that situation alive? Is there anything?
I mean, you could say I give up or something like that, but I don't think that would even stop them. Like, I don't think vocally you could stop anything if you have a freaking shotgun pointed at them.
Exactly. Vocally, I don't think. I think as soon as you yell anything with a shotgun taped to you, you're fucked. So my thought process is, if I was in that, and this is just my own little speculation, I was just this own little. I give these little mind games.
In case you get into this situation,
in case I get in a situation like this, I think I would just put my head down and I would pretend to just be dead. I would just pretend to be dead. I would just lay my head down. If I got shot, I got shot.
Yeah,
I would just lay my head down, and you know, if they came over to me, if they checked me and came over to me, I would make sure that they pulled me back, and then I just opened my eyes slowly. And then I would be like, you know, I would just try to be as cool as possible, because that's the only way to get out of there. And the only way you can act cool in that situation is pretend like you're not conscious, because anything else is you're fucked. But I think that's the only method you could approach them. Maybe Chaz has a different idea.
No, I think that's probably right, because they did come in with the shield first, right? And so there is at least a second of trying to comprehend what they see. So if you look like you're dead, or you look like you're sleeping, you know, something, you're knocked out unconscious or something like that, at least maybe a few of them won't fire at you. Maybe only one of them will shoot you, but not the entire slew of people.
Yeah, well, no, if one shoots, they're all shooting, by the way. Like, no, you're fucked. I'm not, you're likely still fucked, but I don't know. I thought it was just a weird, it was such a clever way to kill somebody, right? And get away and walk away and not really have to deal with anything. Also, I like that he stepped in front of the shotgun, you know, like on purpose, leaving the shotgun without ammunition, knowing the desperation. This is another situation where I'm like, damn, what would I do? Would I pull the gun or would I not? And the thing is like, you have to pull the gun. You have to pull the trigger. If there's even a 1% chance that he might have loaded this, you have to pull the gun. Like you can't not. So like he walks in front of it knowing that this guy has this choice, you know?
Yeah.
He's just fucking with them.
He said, I'd be offended if you didn't.
Yeah, he's like, it's okay. I wouldn't be offended if you didn't try, you know?
Yeah.
It's so, again, it's just these little things that he does about the character. Again, going back to Billy Bob's character. That's just absolutely insane. I do like also the Key and Peele when he died, how he's like, is this a dream? You know, when he asked that, like right before he gets shot, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, is this a dream? It's like such a weird thing to say, you know, like.
Well, no, he was talking about like it was because like Key like constantly like asked these weird philosophical questions about like the nature of reality, and before that happened, he was asking him like, what if we're in someone else's dream, or what if we're still inside our own dream? And then like he sees him coming up, and he's like, oh shit, it is a dream, and then they die.
Oh, Golem says this is a SWAT team member's son. I can verify all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true, man. SWAT doesn't fuck around. Those guys live and breathe for that shit. They love it. They love it. Dicks get hard off. They go home and masturbate that shit later. They love it.
Lord.
God, man. But I think that's really all I wanted to say about the series personally.
I'm actually already 4 episodes into the second season again, just because I was like, I got into a grind. I'm like, all right, cool, let's just keep watching.
Let's just keep watching. Back to Sioux Falls, man. I think I should probably watch back through that again at some point too.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should wait. Isn't there a new season coming out?
I mean, they're filming it because they have to film during the winter, so they're filming it this November, I think. So it's got Ewan McGregor.
Oh wow.
Mary Elizabeth Winston, Carrie Coon, a couple other people, but like Ewan McGregor is going to play 2 brothers. He's playing 2 roles, like one really successful brother and then one younger brother who's like fat and balding and like super jealous of his older brother.
Really?
Yeah.
God. Okay. Well, we gotta do a season.
We're going
2.
weird with it.
Yeah.
We got to do a season 2 before season 3 at some point, because
season 2 is not going to be until like next spring to summer probably. So we got time.
We still got 2 seasons, right? There's 2 and 3.
No. One more.
Oh, there's only one.
One
Okay.
other
So
one more season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have plenty of time too.
Yeah, but an incredible show in my opinion. I think it's pretty fucking sexy.
Yeah. What's cool about Fargo too is that I probably wouldn't have gotten around to watching Fargo for maybe in a couple of years if it wasn't for this show. So it's
one of those things where people see like Fargo. Oh, it's based on that 20-year-old movie that's really good. Like, how could that possibly be as good as the movie? And it's like, it fucking is. It just is, dude. It's like a lot of care and attention went into it. You know, like they respected the source material and then built upon it, which is rare. It's really rare.
Yeah.
It just works.
It just works, don't you know?
It just works. Don't you know? Oh yeah. God, those fucking accents too, man. Oh God, I would hate to live in Minnesota. I really would. Nothing against Minnesotans.
Snow,
I just it's not just the snow. I just think that kind of everybody's bubbly kind of thing. I think I just wouldn't thrive there, man. I think I'm just too mischievous. I think I like to fuck with people too much. Like, I think I would be considered like a criminal there or something. Like where I'm just considered an asshole everywhere else. I think I'd be like a legit like bad person like in Minnesota. Like I feel like they're just all so nice, man. But they're the nicest people, but I couldn't live around that all the time. Like I couldn't keep that up, like that bubbliness.
Right.
I just couldn't, man. I just couldn't. All right.
Okay.
So we want to reveal what we're doing next week, or is there somebody that wanted to come in and ask a question?
I think people are still trying to figure out how to set up Discord. I guess, folks. If you are interested in coming on, make sure you install Discord or at least use the web client, and you just have to create an account, right? I think maybe you have to create an account first, and then you can hop on the server. But until then, next week,
Twitch. Then boom, you're in Discord.
Twitch. Oh yeah, you can log into Twitch too. All right. Well, anyways, next week we've got drumroll a big movie that's coming out soon. Here we go. Is Doctor Strange.
I don't know shit about Doctor Strange. I don't know
me neither. I've never read any of his comics.
Too, yeah. Very, very little.
And good news, it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with 51 reviews. So
awesome. I mean, it just came out in Europe literally like yesterday. So, unfortunately, it's not going to be in the U.S. for another week.
Wait, but what? BlizzCon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out next week.
Yeah, so I'll be at BlizzCon. That's so we're going to have to skip a show. But when we come back, it will. What?
In what world does another country, especially Europe, get a movie before us?
They always do.
But what?
They got World of Warcraft before us. Remember that whole thing? Yeah.
No, I didn't. I've always thought that like Europe gets things after us. Like they're always bitching.
Movies.
You know what? It's shows. You know what? Yeah. I think it's shows. Like Walking Dead. My mod Mythla always bitches about having to like watch it later or something.
It's shows and games we get first here, and then movies they get first. So it's
really okay. I didn't know that. The only thing I know about Doctor Strange is he is a magically based character, almost like Zatanna, I guess, in the DC universe. So he's like one of the few, or possibly the greatest wielder of what would be known as magic.
Well, he can distort reality, so it's like
it's about astral planes.
Exactly,
and
it's like Inception like stuff. I mean, it's
really well. I mean, again, this is all I know of Doctor Strange is that he is like a high level magic person in a world where normally you just have like mutants. Like mutants and other worldly people. There are also magic users. Like I don't think he's a mutant, right?
No.
He's a surgeon who loses his hands and goes on like a spiritual quest to find himself, and then ends up learning magic, essentially harnessing his inner warlock wizard person.
Yeah,
sorcerer. If it's a natural,
that's like the dumbed down explanation of it.
Find your inner warlock.
Well, I'm excited because I don't know anything about Doctor Strange. I think going in with no expectations is going to be good. I think I'm probably going to enjoy it. So
yeah, I think so. Benedict Cumberbatch. When's the last time Benedict Cumberbatch did something bad?
I know.
What's his last bad movie?
I don't know much of his work.
I wasn't really a huge fan of Into Darkness, Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Just because they were like, oh, it's not Khan. Okay, it's Khan.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought he was pretty good.
But, I liked him in the role. I've never disliked him in a role.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like he's always chewing the scenery and doing a damn good job.
I don't think I've ever seen anything he's in.
No, you haven't really. Did you
name some stuff?
You never seen Sherlock?
No, I never watched Sherlock.
Oh you never saw Imitation
with your life?
Games?
Am I a bad person because as soon as I hear he has a British accent in that, right? Because he's Sherlock, right?
He's Smog.
It's like
he's a British person.
Yeah, but isn't it a British television show like the Sherlock series?
Sherlock's a British show, yeah.
Yeah, see, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, I don't want to watch it.
How about
I feel like British TV, like I just don't get. Like I like something about British TV, like they're like, this is the greatest, and I'm just like, nothing here is appealing to me. Like they have a
British
different way
comedy
of doing
shows tend to be
British comedy. I get like Misfits, like Misfits, even though it's like it's a drama.
Okay, if you like Misfits,
I love Misfits.
Sherlock, it's shot the same way. It's very cinematic. Every episode is like a 2-hour movie, like a self-contained case.
Okay, I see. And here's
so watch the first one. Watch the first one. If you don't like it, then you don't even have to bother with the rest because. Like the only like real constant is Moriarty, who
I don't
into like the third episode.
I will probably enjoy it then. I'm not saying that like all British TV. I just have this weird mental block where I hear British television and I just go, I've got other things. I've got American shows to watch. Like, not so shitty. So like patriotic. I don't know. It's not a patriotic thing. It's just like the Britich people have a certain way of constructing and making their shows that for me is usually uninteresting. And it's hard to like make that critical analysis right here. What's the difference between the two of them? But even the way, like when I first started watching high definition, I was like, I had such a hard time. My eyes literally saw British TV, the way they like film it where it looks super real life.
Oh, Oh, it's PAL. They use PAL instead of NTSC.
Yeah, there's like a
But, like,
differences.
Okay.
They've been recently switching over, especially for cinematic shows. Like Black Mirror was all filmed with like.
See, now I love Black Mirror, and that doesn't make make me feel. But there's certain things that they do that are just different, and it makes me not usually like.
I agree with the PAL thing. Like it fucking bugs the shit out of me.
It looks weird.
It looks like I'm watching a telethon. Like it looks so stupid.
It looks like some PBS stuff actually sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a fucking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it looks like real. Like they just. I don't know how else to explain it, but I guess you did.
It just looks lower quality. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, but they've recently been shifting into like more higher quality stuff. Like actually not recently, like within the last 10, 15 years, they've been moving away from that.
I guess that's my thing is British comedy. I'm totally down for it. Like I love The Office. I love Misfits. I love like a bunch of stuff, but like British drama, and I'm just like, but I'll check out Sherlock Holmes. Is there anything else that he's in besides Sherlock Holmes? Or you guys just saw Sherlock Holmes and you're like, I love this guy.
No, The Imitation Game. He played Alan Turing. I talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
He's
in. I mean, if you like,
he was the dragon in The Hobbit.
Yeah, he was small.
He played the dragon.
He was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was
that's cool.
Black. I saw Black Mass recently on the airplane. He
was in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, 12 Years a Slave. He was really good too.
He's in a lot of shit. A lot of them are British stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't do that many like blockbuster type of films.
I don't know.
Now he does.
I
think Doctor Strange is gonna like thrust him into the limelight a little bit better.
Yeah,
he's mostly like a Tumblr addiction. Like people just love Sherlock so much, and they're all on Tumblr with the gifs and the fucking memes and stuff.
British reality shows are way better than American ones. Probably, but I mean that's not really a high standard. It's like we're better at
Teen
shit
Moms
than
versus.
You guys.
Yeah, I
we're
know.
Literally better at we make bigger pieces of shit than America.
Our pieces of shit are in HD. Okay, high quality shit piles.
It's not in PAL anymore.
The only other thing that like I don't know about reality shows that I can't watch British reality shows is at a certain point when they're yelling at each other, I literally do not understand what they're saying. Like at a certain point when they're yelling, especially when they're what's the term? Chaff, something like that, where they're like they're almost like the white trash of British society. I think it's Chaz, I think is the word.
I know you're trying to suck.
It's a term like for the type like you usually see them on reality shows, and when they start yelling at each other, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. You what, mate? You know, like all that shit, like all this.
Is it because their accent's so thick, or what?
The accents are so thick, and the lingo really starts to come out.
Chavs.
Chavs. Yes.
Chavs, okay.
What was I saying?
No. Chaz.
Was I saying Chavs?
You said
Chaz. I think I said Chaz's. Chavs. So like when the Chavs start going at it, man, I don't even know if that's like a term I shouldn't say. I don't know.
No, it's not like derogatory. It's just straight up like it's like calling someone an asshole, basically.
Well, I can it more to like white trash, but yeah, I see what you're saying. But no, when they start going at it, man, like it just gets so thick and the lingo starts getting
like Ezzy from what's the movie? The spy movie where the Kingsman. He's a chav. In the beginning of the movie, he's a total chav.
Yeah. Well, like
Kingsman.
Honestly, like in the new quote unquote new Romeo and Juliet from like the 90s, they were kind of
like the Leonardo one?
Yeah, the Leonardo DiCaprio one, the one with
the Baz Luhrmann one. That one's rad. I love that one.
Milo or Myhook, what's his name? Something Myhook. He played Benvolio. He was also, by the way, the main monster in I Am Legend. It was the same guy who played Benvolio in Romeo and Juliet. His Dash Myhook is his name.
He's from Ray Donovan. Yeah, that guy's awesome.
He plays kind of a chav-ish figure in Romeo and Juliet, like the lower income family.
Okay.
The Montagues, I guess, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or Capulets was Romeo, Juliet, Capulet.
I think Capulet was the Juliet, right? Juliet.
Yes, yeah. We know Shakespeare.
We know Shakespeare. Yes,
it's very important.
We know our one Shakespeare play that's been remade a million times.
Yeah. So, if you ever wanted an example of that, you can just look it up on Google too. Just YouTube Chav and see how much fun you get into. Anyways, I digress again. I've been going off.
All right, why don't we wrap up and do some shout outs here? Diction, want to start us off?
Hello, you're on my channel. I'm EatMyDiction1. I do the stream stuff. I'll be streaming in like an hour and a half, doing some Jackbox 3 games with you guys and some other stuff.
Did you get your Titanfall 2 code?
Not yet.
Did you get your package in the mail?
I haven't checked.
Okay, well, check because your codes are in there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so and just
if I get those today, then I'll be playing that later tonight for sure.
Well, they've got. Oh man, I don't want to ruin the surprise. Just whenever you
Hazard already tweeted it out,
buddy.
Hazard already tweeted it out. He already fucking ruined it for everyone because he's a dick.
Oh, the competition, the like.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, he tweeted out what's in the package.
Yeah, I tweeted out. I'm about to tweet out what's in the package too, just as a thank you. But there was like a very there's like a challenge in there for us as streamers. You should find that package.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
Because it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. I'm trying to decide if I want to get into it or not. If I really want to kind of throw down for that. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'm talking, so I guess I should just go ahead with my thing. I totally hijacked your shit.
I was done talking. I was fine. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ellohime. If you guys want to check me out, you guys can go to twitch.tv/Ellohime, ELLOHIME all together. Everything's there if you want to follow me on Twitter or YouTube. This weekend I had a sore throat, which was really bad. It was fucking miserable for days. And I got better around like Monday, and I was like, yeah, I can get back into streaming. But then I jumped into Civilization 6. And I literally like Cora walked. I can't, man. I can't stream Civ 6. It's so boring.
I think it is kind of boring watching.
It's so boring. Like I would lose.
Established as a fucking like 4X strategy streamer to get people to watch you do.
I literally would walk out of that stream with less followers and probably less viewers than I would go into if I streamed. But yeah, Cora literally came into the room and was like, "Hey, I really miss you." she was like, you have to shower
and eat
at some point. Like, yeah, she was like, Adam, you've got to clean this room. Like, you've got to take care of yourself. I'm like, babe, I've been playing Civ 6. I've been playing it came out when I've only been playing it like the last 3 or 4 days, and I've got like almost 100 hours in the damn game. Like, it's stupid how much time I put into it. So please stream
Civ, though, man. You can't play Civ for like a few hours. You have to play for like a day, like days.
I just something innately boring about watching Civ 6.
I would love to play it, but I know if I streamed it, it would be the most dull thing because I get too laser focused on what I got to do to multitask, and I can't commentate and read chat and shit. Strategy games don't work for me when I stream.
Yeah, I think
it doesn't work.
Here's another thing too. I think the most intimidating part of streaming it is you feel intimidated to learn in front of people while you're trying to talk to them, while you're trying to finish your turn. So it's like I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to talk, and I think now I could probably stream it and do okay because I feel like I have a really good idea of what I'm doing because I've been playing a shit ton of it. But at very first, I would never stream it. But anyways, I'm done. If you guys want to follow me and whatever, I am considering this challenge from Titanfall 2. We'll see.
Awesome. And I'll close things up by I guess promoting my stuff. Everything that ends in Chanmanv. So Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. If it ends in Chanmanv, that's me. And you can find the VODs for this show as well as a bunch of other shows that I do in Hearthstone and Overwatch over on my YouTube channel. And I debuted my game show last week, by the way, guys. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I debuted it in the Overwatch community, so the Overwatch edition, and it was a lot of fun. So you can check that out here. Cool. One of these days, I should have you guys on it, and whatever. We could probably figure out
Overwatch. I want to be on an Overwatch show. Fuck yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be Overwatch. It's not just Overwatch. Like the game show, we'll do anything. We'll do freaking Fargo. I mean, whatever, right? Like it's just.
You already did it.
No,
I'll take the rapist for 500.
I'll take the rapist.
That's therapist.
There you go. Therapist.
I'll take the rapist for 500.
Oh my god. But anyways, you can catch that.
That's the pen is mightier. I'm sorry, I'm done.
No, but
I have a question. What is the V in Chanmanv?
It's supposed to be 5, but everybody just kept calling it V, so I just adopted the V after a while. I'm just like, forget it.
No one likes Roman numerals, man.
It, 5.
Are you like a quintuplet?
No, the whole story. Okay, the whole story is that I used to play like Warcraft 2 pretty competitively back in the day, before like esports, or at least Warcraft esports was anything, or RTS games were anything back then. And at the time we were playing on Cali or whatnot. There were 4 Chanmans at the time. So it's just like, oh, I'm tired of people just asking me if I'm that Chanman. So I just
you're Chanman number 5.
I'm the 5th Chanman, all right?
Why didn't you choose best, 1? Why didn't you make yourself the 1?
Yeah. It's because there was already one that predated like way in the very beginning of Warcraft. So I was like,
I don't know, Chan makes you kind of an underfoot figure.
I mean,
a lot of
actually, there might not have been 4. There might have been like 2 or 3 of them. But I was just like, the V is just, a nice round 5 is like much better. And then there was already an X too. There was like a Chanman X that played a different game. So people would ask me about that too. So I'm just like, damn. You
should have been like Chan Boy.
No, that's my son. My son's Chan Boy actually.
But. Oh, your son's Chan Boy. But he could be Chan Son. You could be Chan Boy.
Oh
that way you don't have to be Chan Man and share it with a bunch of other idiots.
Well, those guys are gone too. Oh, there's a type racer guy too. That's maybe he's Chanman X, but I always get, oh gosh, I'm a big fan of your typing and shit. I'm like, that's not me. Apparently there's a super fast typer.
Chan Boy V does sound more dirty.
Yeah, especially at my age, dude.
Come here, Chan Boy.
Exactly. But no, I'm going to be at BlizzCon too this week. So if any of you guys are at BlizzCon, definitely look for me. I'm probably going to do I have to do some meet and greet for this World of Podcast thing, like the Thursday before BlizzCon. So if you guys want to, and it's in one of the hotels, like right around the convention center. So if you guys want to come check that out, me as well as a bunch of other Blizzard podcasters like Garrett, A-Move guys, and Scott Johnson, all those guys, we'll all be there. So yeah, come check us out. But That's going to be it for spoiler alerts this week. So for me, Eat My Diction, Ellohime, myself, Chanmanv. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Watch Doctor Strange, guys. Watch Doctor Strange.